This week on Erotic Awakening, Compersion and Naughty Revival.
Welcome to Erotic Awakening, an exploration of all things erotic. If you are offended by adult topics or prohibited by law, we recommend you stop listening right now.
We want to thank our latest patron supporter, Shawnee.
Head over to patreon.com/Erotic Awakening today and get your bonus content and support the show.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Dan.
So, in just a little bit, we're going to be talking about an event we're really excited to be attending, Naughty Revival, and we are actually going to speak with one of the people that put that event together, and we're going to learn about it and also all the challenges about putting that event together. And again, you and I get to go, we've counted recently, we've gone to 400 plus events at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Naughty Revival is really something different, and you'll hear all about that in just a moment.
Indeed. Looking forward to it. Lots of people we know, some people we've played with before, and just a really good event the last time we went. Though, like you said, things are a little different this year with it, and he will talk all about that.
But first, you just spent a long, extended weekend with one of my poly partners.
I did?
And
I did.
You did. And before that, I spent an extended amount of time with one of my poly partners.
Yes.
And I got to see them spending time around their poly partner.
One of which is very new to them.
And one of the things that I would like to explore on the podcast tonight is this idea of compersion. Have we gotten to the point where we have mastered compersion?
Man,
we know all the tricks and we can teach everyone how to gain and have compersion all the time?
I don't want to jinx us.
Well, before you jinx us, maybe you should define what that actually means.
Usually compersion, it's used to mean the opposite of jealousy, right? And a lot of times, compersion was specifically created by a polyamorous group that used to be in California. They're not together anymore, but this is long time ago they came up with this word. So it is a word that is used in the polyamory community for that specific thing, the opposite. And it's not just the opposite of jealousy. It's more like feeling joy that your partner is getting joy from another partner. That's how we usually define it.
Yep. And we've done the definition of compersion before. We're not going to get too deep into what it is. Let's talk brass tacks. How do you get there?
How do you get there? Well, that means when you feel jealousy, you have to work on your jealousy, right? Not only that, but you have to work on your self-confidence.
Yeah.
That was my biggest thing, was working on my self-confidence. I worked on my jealousy a lot, but I kind of got stuck in my jealousy sometimes, right? Or I would get stuck in a trigger, or I'd get stuck in the what about me, or, something like that. And now the beginning of our poly journey was also the beginning of my healing journey. Like I was doing everything at once, so it's no wonder things kind of went crazy there for a little bit. But once I did that work on myself and developed my self-confidence. That's when things started clicking into place. That's when I didn't completely lose my fear of losing you, which is where a lot of my jealousy came from. If you had more fun with someone else, if you spent more time with someone else, if, whatever, if I had a fear of losing you. And then my self-confidence clicked in. That was the biggest thing for my compersion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And for the years and years that we've been around the polyamory community and heard people talking about compersion, it feels like that was the big secret that nobody was sharing, is that it's really a matter of self-confidence. When I am around partner Tracy and her new boyfriend S, and she's got all the NRE4 and all that kind of stuff, it is easy for me to feel compersion, to feel joy in her happiness when I am feeling a level of self-confidence, but also confidence in my relationship with that person, that it doesn't get rocked just because they're seeing somebody new. To recognize, I think a significant part of it that helps me to have compersion is to look at those relationships and and I know that we often say don't compare, but to look for the differences. When I see the differences in what that person provides, it's easy for me to say, "Oh, well, that's really nice that they can provide that." We use the one with you a lot that Big D likes to do roller coasters and you like to do roller
Mhm.
coasters. And it's easy for me to look at that and say, "Well, there's something that Dawn gets to do and have fun with that I don't actually want to do. So why not have fun with it?" And so for me, that's one of the easier ways to get to compersion is to do a little bit of recognizing how things are different and how they benefit you, that they are different.
So we were actually at a poly round table tonight, and there was a few people expressing that there was things that they don't like to do that their partner likes to do, but their partner has found someone that likes to do it with them.
Hmm.
And they can like, whew, you know, oh, good, I don't have to figure this thing out. So like you don't have to figure out how to do roller coasters with me
Right.
because I have figured out how to do that with someone else. Not that I would ever expect you to, to shift enough to like roller coasters. You're allowed to not like roller coasters. But, there's another thing that struck me. You said confident in the relationship. There's also a little bit of confidence in their other relationships. And I will explain a little bit. As in, when I know, and this feels kind of backwards,
Okay.
but when I know that you are having a good time, when I know that that other relationship is good for you,
Hmm.
it's easier to feel compersion. And this feels backwards, but if you are coming home or Big D's coming home, if any of my partners are coming home and going, "Oh my God, tonight was just awful.
Mm.
I really didn't have a good time, blah, blah, blah." And I start to go, "Then why the hell are you doing this?"
Right.
I hear people talk about that
Yeah, that
as
totally makes
well.
sense.
Mhm.
Do you think it's easier to have compersion if you like and or respect your?
Yes. When you have had partners in the past that I feel disrespected you
Mhm.
or disrespected me, and that's a whole other level. But when they disrespect you, no, I don't have compersion for that at all, or I
Mhm.
don't like them, or I
It is
it's harder
harder.
to feel
Yeah.
compersion when you don't like the meta.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We talked about self-confidence, but also this idea of self I want to say for some reason the word selfishness is coming to mind and I don't know why. You might have to edit that because that's a half-baked thought.
Okay. Or I'll just leave it in and you can try to think it out.
Good. Yeah, I'm really hard at making what leap is that I was trying to make? I think that for me, one of the reasons that I can be compersive is it's neat. Sometimes you get to that point of seeing that, and in this case, I'm thinking specifically seeing Tracy and her interactions with S as not threatening, right? We have to
Right.
recognize, and I guess that's along the lines of that same as self-confidence, right? But and that relationship confidence is
And
there's
not
not.
having the fear of
Mhm.
losing someone because their other partner's different.
So if somebody was brand new to this polyamory thing, and we
Mhm.
totally understand, right? You've come from a culture that teaches you that jealousy is the norm and the right thing, and you've met some new partner and you're all googly eyes and that's great, and suddenly they've met some new person and you feel jealous and you're like, oh man, how do I develop compersion? We can say, well, you got to build your self-confidence, but that's a long process. What are some easy early things you can do to help you ease towards compersion?
Probably the easiest is gonna be reframing,
Hmm.
but I don't know that I have a lot of examples like that, but I know that's gonna be the big thing is reframing. Switching the story that you're telling yourself into something that's more positive.
Hmm.
So the reframing. Do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is to recognize that most of our jealousy is based in a either, and we'll come back. Remember the selfish thing I was talking about earlier?
Yes.
I finally clicked that.
Oh,
It's
good.
this idea of what about me,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the reason for jealousy is this fear that I'm going to be cut out, that I'm going to
Right.
not have enough, that there is some quantity of love that if you're going to give it to the other person, then I'm not going to get it, right?
Right.
So this concept of what about me?
Scarcity.
Scarcity. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
To recognize most of that stuff that you're worried about isn't actually happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is us projecting it into the future.
Mm-hmm.
And the reframe that I've often used is this kind of a so what sort of thing, in that when I see Tracy with the new boyfriend and they're holding hands and looking at each other and smiling, and I start to feel a negative thing, oh, look at them fucking all googly eyed, is to frame it into a, okay, so what? Right?
Mm.
Where's the actual bad in that? So to try and find where's the bad
Mm-hmm.
in their happiness, and well, I can't find a bad thing about it. Okay, then what's my problem? Oh, my problem is my fear, Oh, okay, cool. That helps. That reframe helps me to,
Mm.
when I approach it, when I address it with Tracy, I can say, I feel insecure instead of you're doing something wrong.
Right, right. So, but there's also the other reframe,
Hmm.
right? So I was there as well the night that you're talking about when Tracy and her new beau, her new boyfriend came into the coffee shop and we all played board games
Uh-huh.
together,
Yep.
right? So the way that I've learned to reframe things is if Big D walked in with a
Hmm.
new girlfriend, right? How would I handle that? How would I turn that into compersion? And my reframing has got to be, how would I want him to feel if I
Mm.
walked in with a new partner? Right? I would want him to feel supportive and secure and
Yes.
okay and, happy that I'm happy and sharing all of that energy with me, right? Not putting up the wall like I tend to do sometimes, trying to protect myself
Yep.
from whatever fear that I have. So that's my reframing, is that I want to be the person that feels the joy for them, just like I would want them to feel joy for me,
Hmm.
not fear.
Yeah. And
So, yeah.
and that leaves me with one last tool for compersion that I want to share,
Okay.
is this is one that you can't actually teach and you
Mm,
can't force. It's just pretty valuable when it happens, in that when you and I started doing the polyamory thing as individuals, I had a lot more and have continued to have more partners than you do. But at the beginning, I had a partner and you did not.
right.
And I would say the words, just because I love this person doesn't mean that I love you any less.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until you started to experience that for yourself,
Right.
then it becomes easier for you to practice compersion,
Mm-hmm.
when you're actually experiencing that kind of thing. So that's not one that you can actually teach per se,
Right.
but it is something that, just if once you start, if you're the partner that doesn't have anyone else, once you've started to date someone else, you get the experience that allows you to look at that other person and say, oh, wow, look at that. I am in love with partner one, and I've still got plenty of love for partner two as well. I guess it does work that way.
Exactly. So, and that's when it clicked for me, regardless of the fact that I'd been poly for years and years and
Hmm.
years, I had not dated separately on my own. And until I did that and found a person I wanted to date, right? Then that's when I started, that's when the logic and the emotions started lining up.
Hmm.
I'd had the logic forever and the feelings, but not the emotional emotions. So, yeah.
Cool.
That's kinda cool. That's good
I,
stuff. I hope
yep.
it helps people.
I think it will help people. Specifically, it might help people in places like Apex in Phoenix in November,
And Evie in Phoenix in November.
and Explorations into Kink in St. Louis in November.
God, we're going to be busy in November. And Kink School Online in November.
And Naughty Revival in Minnesota, finally, December.
And Apex in December.
And Cure in Columbus in January.
IMAS in Indy in February.
And June, you'll find us in Tulsa.
And March, April, and May, we're still in negotiations with people.
I just added a new one for May in Portsmouth, UK.
Portsmouth, UK. Are
Yep.
we going?
I don't know. I just added it to the maybe calendar.
Oh my gosh. And Iceland is in there for 2025
know,
too that
I
we might
know,
be going
crazy.
to. Fabulous. Keep up with all our events, book news, discounts, and more via the Erotica newsletter.
And get your EA shout outs like ZF in New York.
And Susan in Illinois.
Head over to eroticawakening.com and subscribe today. So, Dawn, you and I have been very fortunate that we get to go to a great number of events.
We do.
From the huge events to the much smaller ones, and they all offer something different. And we are very appreciative of all the opportunities to go check them out.
Absolutely.
But recently, as in just last year, we had our first opportunity to attend Naughty Revival, and it was a significantly enough different event than everything else that we wanted to bring on someone to talk about Naughty Revival. And we are fortunate on the podcast tonight. We have Timothy, who is the president of the group that puts it together. Timothy, thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate you guys having me on. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I hope so as well. And I know Naughty Revival is going to be a lot of fun. And I also know that the buzz is already out there for it. We've been talking to just a lot of people. Currently, we are in Illinois. And in case my poly partner is listening, I'm going to say Illinois.
Because she doesn't like it.
She hates that. But anyway, and they're talking about Naughty Revival all the way out here, which is really weird because there's a huge event here in town that we normally have people talking about, but instead they're talking about Naughty Revival. So, Timothy, what in your mind makes Naughty Revival stand out a little bit from other similar events?
Wow. We get asked that a lot, and every time somebody asks me, I seem to think of one additional item. So I won't go down the entire list because this is a short podcast. What we did is, a lot of our people that are involved in our group have been to Kinky College, and they've been to other events around the country. And one thing that was glaring is that there seemed to be, there were certain formats, like there's leather events, there's maybe a swinger event, there seemed to be lanes that everybody would stay in. And then if it was more BDSM centric, it wasn't a hotel takeover. So you had to be still vanilla. We thought, is there a way, without getting egg on our face, that we can try and blend everybody in a community and make it to where everybody converses at one time, all walks of life, and accepts each other for who we are. And luckily, so far it's going well. This is our this will be our fourth event blending everybody together. And what makes us different is that we not only have education, we'll have 52 classes this year.
Wow.
17 educators from across the country. It is a hotel takeover. So there's 249 rooms that were sold in 72 hours.
Wow.
The property is all ours. It's 38,000 square feet. So the freedom that you have at our event versus other events is just that. You can dress as you want if you want to dress. It's a clothing optional. It is a indoor pool that is clothing optional. It is 2 on-site restaurants. It's everything you can think of to where you submerge into the event and you don't pull your snorkel back up until you leave on Sunday.
And that's one of the really huge things about it is that, and I love all the events we go to. I have plenty of good things to say about them, but when you have to leave the event space to go back to your room to take a nap, to change your clothes, to find an aspirin or whatever it is, every time you step out of event space, and you've got people saying, "Oh, don't forget to hide your name badge. Don't forget to put a jacket on. You can't wear that in the vanilla space." It's a little jarring compared to when you can check in on Friday and you get to be that authentic self until Sunday when they kick you out.
Exactly right. And I guess if you had to pare it down to one specific item, that would be it. Our tagline is "come as you are or as you wish to be." And people do. They've embraced it. I mean, every walk of life. There's ponies, there's, you name it, you're going to see it at the event. It's nuts. We bring in a large troupe of performers, kind of a Renaissance style that they're roaming the property this year, and there'll be pop-up acts. And we expanded to 4 dungeons. I mean, if you want to play racquetball, go play racquetball naked. We got 4 racquetball courts too.
Ooh.
There's just a little bit of everything for everybody at the event. But you're correct. You wear what you want. You, there's no rules except for no vanillas. That's it. And be nice to people. Because if you're
Right.
not nice to people, then we have a problem.
Right. One of the neat, and on a quick sidebar, I am well aware of at least one racquetball themed scene coming up that weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. One of the really neat things that I'm liking about this is it's not just that you invited us to present, right? We're very happy about that. And we're very happy to present like our polyamory and power exchange class and chemical play. Those are popular classes. People love them. What we're really jazzed about is you guys are not just taking the standard classes.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this. You guys picked some of our classes. Yes, yes, yes. So we have the ordeal rituals and then the broken vase class. So that's going to be phenomenal. Those are deep classes.
Right. So these are well beyond the 101, here's how to swing a flogger and, here's how to tie somebody up, which are great classes. And I'm glad you have those too. But for people like us that have been to a fair number of events, there's some stuff out there that's really different and interesting.
Absolutely.
And as we've grown in our roles in learning more, I mean, none of us did this before we started this, right? So there was a massive straight to the ground learning curve for everything that we did.
Mhm.
But what we have learned now is we needed to blend soft skills for those that are needing soft skills or newer to the community. And we've got some things that we put out some pretty heavy trigger warnings on everywhere we can to let people know what's going to be happening in this class, because it's not for everyone.
Oh, but some of us need those deeper classes, right? We've been doing this for 20 some years, and it's nice to have something that's a little more.
Exactly right. You've been in it that long. You've seen much, but now you might see something that you haven't seen in a while, but a different perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
We've leaned a little bit into heavy into edge play this event. We have a specific dungeon set off to the side for edge play with trigger warning signs everywhere. We're just trying to make sure that we hit, dare I say, the novice, someone new to the community, or someone that's been around for quite some time. There's still something to capture and pique your interest throughout the weekend that you can find a quote unquote home in over the weekend.
Nice. Now, when we were talking at the beginning, before we started recording, you said that you're looking at 900 attendees, which means you're going to have them across the board, from never walked into a space before because COVID or whatever, to getting back into it after however many years, and
You're exactly
the whole
right.
thing.
As I said, we want to hit everybody no matter where they are in their journey, their kink journey. This year, for the first time, we're going to be having locally some vanilla events for individuals that perhaps are attending single, and that can be intimidating, or those that are newer to the community and they're not sure what to expect. So we're going to have a couple of vanilla munches for them. They'll be able to meet our ownership, meet a lot of our leads, answer any questions, and then we're going to have a little mixer immediately Friday night that those people can, again, cluster together, meet different people, kind of start to get the energy and feel the energy, so they do have a little more, what am I trying to say? A little more comfort in venturing out throughout the property, because it's a massive property. It's almost 40,000 square feet. It's huge.
Wow.
And that is so big, because we often hear people say, I want to go to these big events, but I don't know anybody and I'll get lost and nobody will know me. And for you to put that energy into having that kind of a meet and greet for people, that's huge for people. I really appreciate that.
What a welcome into the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Now,
we hope it works.
Now, one of the things I like to do when I go to these events and is do a little shopping. I am weighing down the RV more and more with all the stuff that I buy. But I'm pretty picky at this point because I've been to so many events. An event this size, I'm sure you're going to have at least what, 10 or 11 vendors?
We passed that number. We have room for 50 vendors at this event. There's one very large ballroom in the lower level that locks that we can get 45 vendors into. Varying size of booths. There's 10 by 10s, there's 10 by 20s, and then there's simply 6-foot tables. It varies.
Are they all filled? Do you have enough vendors?
30, we have 30, I believe 36 right now. We have, if memory's correct, we have 5 or 6 contracts that are out pending, waiting for that to come back in. But we're bound and freaking determined to get to 50, which is going to be an
Nice.
astronomical number. It'll probably blow people's minds when they see 50 vendors of every ilk. We're fortunate that a lot of our vendors come from out of state too, in return.
Nice.
A lot of our patrons do too, actually. Right now we have patrons attending from 26 states and 3 countries currently.
And I've had people actually asking about, they like to feel the products instead of buying online. This would be the
Yeah.
place to do that. You want to hold those floggers. You want to hold those single tails. So coming in person and actually handling the piece of wood or whatever. I mean, online's great if that's all you've got, but man, being in person. So
Yeah, absolutely. I just love the come as you are or wanna be tagline. So the event is Naughty Revival. The dates are December 6th through 8th. If you are a listener of the Erotic Awakening podcast, Dan and Dawn are going to be there, and we are more than happy to, if you are new to the community and you don't feel like you know anybody, well, we say, bullshit, you know us. We'll be more than happy to have a cup of coffee with you and introduce you to people. As podcast listeners from episode 280 or into 400 or so, I used to offer Dawn on a silver plate. I'm happy to do that again. Why not?
why
We can
not?
assist you with that.
That's
And Dan,
fabulous.
one thing too, I wanted to mention, I said earlier on that, we were fortunate that the rooms sold out immediately. We have a property that is across the highway that we've partnered with, a Comfort Inn. Depending on if you hit the traffic lights or not, you can be at the hotel in 4 minutes or 9 minutes. It depends on which one you hit the traffic lights on. We've worked with them. I think we currently have 57 rooms that they've sold, but it's $104 a night. Locked in, plus taxes. It's a vanilla hotel, but there's already 100 and some odd people that are attending Naughty Revival that are staying at that hotel too.
Nice, nice, nice. So you still got tickets left then?
We still have tickets. We're about, I'd say we got close to 25% of our tickets remaining. We're noticing a uptick now that summer's over. School started, vacations are done. People are starting to look at their last quarter of the year and what they want to do. And so we expected it. We're very fortunate. And we are seeing a little bit of a surge right now. VIP is completely sold out. That sold out in 5 days. But the GA ticket gives you everything. I mean, go to any class you want to go to, get there early because there's 900 people trying to get to all these different classes. Just do whatever you want to do when you're there. Have fun. Find friends. Make new friends. If you don't have a friend, come find me. I'll be your friend. I don't care. I need more friends.
Fantastic.
We'll work with you.
Awesome.
Timothy, it's been a pleasure working with you so far. I can't wait to come back to Naughty Revival. Again, that website, go get your tickets. I mean, it's just around, it's December. It's almost Christmas time. What are you going to go get somebody another stuffy? They've got enough stuffies. Take them to Naughty Revival instead. Head over to naughtyrevival.com.
And one more thing, there is a rumor that Naughty Santa Claus is going to be there with his naughty elves for free pictures.
That's good because I know a ho, 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 he says, looking at Dawn.
We'll get pictures for you, Dawn. You'll be in
Love
them,
it.
trust me.
Love
Thanks,
it.
Timothy. We'll talk to you later.
Appreciate you guys. Take care. See you in December.